Okay, so we debuted the first half of the double DIY build, 750 gallon Amazonian Islands build. And before we release the 600 gallon Asian Jungle Stream Aquarium live stream next Saturday, I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at the Amazonian Islands Aquarium and see how the fish are living the Amazonian Islands life. Well, let's see. Let's start with the fact that everyone is doing great. Everyone is very happy. No casualties. So full move over of everything. No casualties, water chemistry, no spikes. Now let's get into how they're living. So as you can see, as expected, cichlids are digging in the sand and burying some of my plants, pulling sand away from the roots of some of the others, uprooting some of the plants, and then anything that I didn't put in there nice and firm, they made sure to knock it out and have it float to the top. So that's to be expected. A lot of people ask about a lot of rooted plants to put into the aquarium, and that's pretty much the example why. Like, I'm actually surprised as much of this dwarf sage is still planted as it is. You know, give these guys time; they're going to uproot that. The other question I get is, are the severum, are they just going to eat all the plants? Well, for one thing, I have these severum were living with these same types species of plants for multiple years. Plus, you know, my 3,000 gallon that has severum in it. That's fully planted. So the answer is, you know, it depends. Not in my case because, well, let me put it this way. In my case, I think the reason they do not is because the choice of plants, of course. You want those thick, coarse leaves that they don't like. They like the soft, you know, thin, nice, you know, salad-like leaves of plants, like stem plants and all that kind of goodness, or fresh buds off of dwarf sage. They'll go crazy on those, or if they flower or anything like that. And the other thing is, I don't just feed smaller foods like flake to these guys. I also feed them pellets as well. And I think part of keeping them from making a nice salad out of all my plants is the fact that they are well fed with those pellets, including vegetable pellets. So they're getting that in their diet, and I think that's curbing their aggression towards the plants. But I would say the #1 factor is the type of plant. I don't care how much you feed them. If you put stem plants in here, they're gone. They're going to eat them all like in a night. It'll be insane. So as we can see, they're finding the flaws in my scape and uprooting it. They're doing their business in the sand, which is to be expected, which is why most of our plants are water column feeder rhizome plants that are tied onto substrate. And then the other interesting thing is, a week in, you wonder, are they liking their home? Well, I would say the angels are liking their home because they've laid eggs on the drain pipe there, and they're up there taking care of them right now. So yeah, I would say they're they're liking their new home if they decided to breed 1 week in. So that's pretty awesome. So who knows? Maybe they'll be baby angels. I doubt it. I think the other guys will eat the eggs, but we'll see. It definitely is an indicator that they are feeling comfortable in their new home. So what I thought I'd do in this video is, rather than just show you, you know, the 750 gallon from the outside, is let's take you inside the aquarium and we'll go underwater and we'll get a close-up of how these guys are living the Amazonian Islands life. So of course, as soon as we get underwater, we got a camera hog who decides to poke his face right in front of the camera. But little did I know when this footage was being taken that he was probably up there scouting out that drain pipe, because we know that they decided to lay eggs there. And unfortunately, like I sort of commented earlier in the video, by the next morning, the other fish had eaten all the eggs. So no angelfish babies. But what I wanted to show with this look underwater is just the scale. Looking down, you actually have these distinct island structures there of the rockwood and plants, and just seeing the fish, you know, moving between them, and the fact that also that they move every which direction. Like, some of the fish are coming from the back, swimming towards structure in the front. Some are going from left to right, right to left, front to back. Just everyone's going every which direction, and I really think that makes for a really unique look. As well as it seems like the fish kind of go from structure to structure to structure, rather than just being one sort of monolithic scape. It's like they're checking out different zones continuously, always keeping it moving. And again, here just more of showing the fish moving between the structures and the schools, and also the what I really love about these peaceful cichlids and then tetra or peaceful community fish is the size disparity. So I love when you have the much larger cichlids coexisting with small tetra and medium tetra in the aquarium, because it To me, it really adds to it, rather than a tank where all the fish are tiny, or like even like my 3,000 gallon where all the fish are big. You just don't have that same effect as having that mix of large fish and then the smaller ones. Because already the Severn are pretty big, but those true parrot cichlids, they'll get quite large. I mean, it's going to be really nice. Now it's going to prevent me from keeping tiniest little Tetra like neons and stuff, but you can still keep quite a few. And then just wanted to get in a little closer, and so you can see these guys close up, how they're interacting with each other and with the scape. And then also too here is throughout this video, you'll notice the schooling. You'll see that the Geophagus are staying together as a group. You'll see, for the most part, much of the like the Tetra, like the Buenos Aires and the red blue Colombians, and the Serpes, they're staying together in groups. And speaking of the Buenos Aires Tetra, I tell you what, getting them into this aquarium, I feel like they're sort of the unsung, sort of stealing the show, I should say, because I know when I look at that tank and I see them schooling across, I mean, it just looks awesome. Maybe not as awesome as a super red Severn, but in its own way, very, very awesome. The other thing here too is there wasn't much aggression when these guys were in the 220, though there was some squabbling between the Severn and the Geos and the true parrotfish and the Severn. But man, that has just evaporated since they've gotten moved into the 750. You can just tell the way all the fish are acting. They're definitely at ease, and they're definitely enjoying the space. So it's been great. Also too, I noticed with it's slowly happening, but the coloration, they're starting to color up much nicer than really they ever were in the 220. Even though I do think it's a bit of a slow process here, because it is white sand and they are still adjusting, but it is happening. And one thing I'm going to focus on is dosing for the plants, because a lot of people sort of commented that it's a huge tank and this structure doesn't really fill it up yet. But the end goal here is not for the rock and wood to fill all the space, but for all that Java fern to grow up and fill that space above the islands, especially to thicken in everywhere. I had an aquarium one time where I had some Java fern tied to the top of it. It was actually a 40 breeder. It was a grow out, and eventually it just grew huge and thick and out of the water, so I moved it into 150 gallon, and the cube, it's actually the reef cube now, but then it was freshwater. And I had this big island in the middle with all the Java fern. I mean, the Java fern was huge. It was like at least a foot long, if not more. And it was thick, super thick. And I mean, the downside of that is it trapped all kinds of detritus, but it was super thick and it looked super cool. And I want to have basically 4 of those in here, at least 2 big ones in the back, and then with the newbies in the front. But yeah, I want to have that actual island of structure, that the fish go between and swim in and out of. And so give it time. It doesn't look complete yet, but Rome wasn't built in a day, right? You gotta let the tank mature. And as you know, with my channel, all of my aquariums are ecosystem aquariums, and they're all long haul. There's no swapping these guys out for something else. This is what this tank is, and I believe that the evolution of the tank over time is just as interesting as tearing things down, swapping things out. Because I mean, right now I can tell you, I don't know if anything illustrates it better than this shot here. There's a lot of room in there. There's a lot of fish to add to this aquarium. There's a lot of stories to go with adding the new fish and seeing those new fish grow up in here and seeing them interact with the other fish, seeing these fish all mature and grow, and how their interactions change, and then of course seeing the plants grow, the environment mature. So some of this moved over was mature stuff, but a lot of it isn't. So there's a lot of room to go. This tank, it has it's not the end of the story at all with debuting the tank. This is really just the beginning. Building the tank was just a phase, and now it's the long haul phase of seeing this aquarium mature and grow over the next 10 years. I mean, I can't wait. It's what this is going to look like. I need to make sure, definitely taking video along the way. So what I need to do eventually, years and years from now, is put together a video just showing the fish, the aquarium as it was year 1, year 2, year 3, all that sort of thing. I think that'll look really cool. I think also that would help illustrate how cool it is just to have the aquarium mature. Not just always changing it, but just how actually different the aquarium can be just from maturing, as well as the fish as well. So another thing I want to point out too is the group of angels that's been in the 220 and in here. I bought 6. They were all 6 came together, and it's been really cool how they've all, even though they've paired off and everything like that, they're good with each other. There's no infighting with them, and they do a lot of times stay together in a big group, and I've definitely enjoyed that. As well as I'm really hoping they get to their full potential size in here. I mean, I don't think angels get their due sometimes with how impressive they look when they get really big. And unfortunately, I think a lot of times they're kept in aquariums where they're never going to see that true maximum growth. But when you do get an angel that's, I don't know, easily all of 10 inches tall, I mean, it is impressive. A very, very cool fish. Something to rival the Severum and the parrot cichlid. So definitely what we have to look forward with Amazonian Islands, we have the maturity, but we have a lot of fish to add to this aquarium. And this is one where I was hoping, to get some ideas. I'm talking, medium-sized Tetra. I certainly know there's some fish I want to put in here. I need some more plecos, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, but I need some really good schooling fish. I want to get a couple big schools of smaller Tetra. When I say smaller, something in between at least as big as a black neon so they don't get eaten by the cichlids, and maybe not bigger than like the Serpe Tetra. Not as big as my blue-red Colombians or the Buenos Aires. Something, some kind of that, really kind of as small as I can get schooling Tetras that wouldn't get eaten by the Severum and the parrotfish. That's kind of what I'm targeting. That, and I'm going to be focusing, real heavily on getting the dosing right for the plants for this aquarium, because I want to not just tell you what it's going to look like. I want to show you when all those plants grow in on those islands, how impressive this tank can be. And then also, possibly another medium-sized cichlid. There's definitely room for it. Maybe some Acara, saddle cichlid. We'll see. Lots of options here. Okay, before we end the video, I thought we would celebrate the fish moving over to Amazonian Islands with one of their favorite treats, a big container of jumbo bloodworms, something they get maybe every month or so. So they should enjoy this. Let's see what they think. Oh yeah, as expected, they are chowing down. They love their bloodworms. And hopefully plenty of those will make it to the bottom for our bottom feeders to get some. Yeah, it looks like we've already got them down there. Of course, cichlids are happy to eat them off the bottom as well, so those Cory cats will need to get over there quick. A little bit of squabbling in the back there. I didn't know if I caught it on camera, but yeah, here comes the Cory crew. They're onto it. They've detected it. And of course that Severum didn't get that fat by not getting his fair share. As well as the Geos. Obviously we know Geophagus are the most adept at clearing food off and in the substrate, so no surprise. Angel spitting out sand. He was going to get his bloodworm whether he's going to eat some sand or not. Oop, there he goes. Alright, well that, yeah, that took all of 20 seconds. Okay, so that's how my fish are living the Amazonian Islands life. They definitely are loving it. I can tell. I'm loving it. It's a great tank to watch. It's very enjoyable, and it's really cool to see all the positives from the fish. All their positive behaviors. You can tell that they're really digging this tank. And the most important thing is when you uproot an entire ecosystem and move it into a new home, to not have any casualties is huge. I mean, that's the goal, right? All the steps you take, all the patience that you have to exert to not just throw them in there because you can't wait to see them. That's the reason you do it, so that there's no casualties, no fatalities. Everyone gets to their new home, and you keep the stress to a bare minimum, and the results are something special, like what you saw here. And lastly, the 600-gallon Asian Jungle Scream Aquarium debuts this coming Saturday, March 12th, 7 p.m. There will be the reminder going out midweek, and there'll be another live premiere, so I hope to see everybody there. If you weren't able to make the 750-gallon Amazon Islands premiere, this is your next chance, or your last chance for the WDIY builds, but hopefully everyone that was able to make the first one is able to make the second premiere as well. I really enjoyed watching with you guys, live chatting with you guys, the whole experience. It was awesome. All right, thanks for watching.